Hi, my name is Miss Corbishley, and I teach seventh grade math and science here at Seaside Middle School. The colleges that I attended were University of the Pacific in Stockton, California, Monterey Peninsula College, which is our local community college, California State University, Monterey Bay, our local CSU here out located in Marina. Then I attended Brandman University. I was part of the online campus, but I did have a home base out of the Monterey office. In order to prepare me for college, I made sure that I was completing all my A through G requirements and then going above and beyond. I did take some AP and advanced placement courses. I took extra science courses. I took courses of interest that would help me on my college applications because colleges do look at that stuff. Like, what are you involved in? I was a swimmer. I was a competitive swimmer outside of school, and then I also swam 4 years on varsity in high school, as well as being captain of the swim team. I was in leadership, and I was really involved at school. Did I always have the same major or know what I was going to do as for a profession? No. I started at University of the Pacific going into sports med and athletic training, thinking that I wanted to be one of the doctors that runs onto the field when somebody gets hurt, when you see them at like a football game or any sort of sports. And throughout my time at UOP, I really found my passion was in education, and I wanted to be a teacher. I love sports med, but my passion was in education. So I did decide to switch my major, and instead of paying a private university tuition, I came home and started taking courses at MPC. I spent a year there, and then I transferred to University CSUMB, and my bachelor's was in liberal studies with an emphasis in kinesiology because it is still one of my passions. Then about a year into my teaching journey, I decided that I wanted to get my master's, and that's why I went back to Brandman. So I went to Brandman University and I got my master's and my teaching credential, and I graduated with that in December of 2020. What inspired me to decide to be a teacher? Probably the biggest influence was there was a teacher at Monterey High, and I've never told her this story, but there was a teacher at Monterey High, and she was never my teacher. And she would always like say hi to me, check in with me. My dad was sick and passed away when I was in high school, and I didn't like talking about it. But she definitely let me know that she was a person that I could talk to, and just by asking how I was, she helped make my day. And I will always be grateful for her for that. And I hope that I can be a positive influence on the lives of my students. I know it's really hard in a digital space, but when we are in person, I hope that's something that my students feel. A biggest lesson that I learned in college. Okay, so college was the first time I received a non-passing grade, and I learned that it wasn't the end of the world. I thought my world was going to come to an end if I got anything lower than an A, like definitely in high school. And then in college, I got my first non-pass, and I was devastated, but I did learn that like life goes on still. And, it's not always what happens, it's how you come back from it. And so that was a really important lesson that I learned. And I learned that you can grow from failure. Like, it's called failing forward for a reason. And I think that was the first time that I really learned that. I also learned that it was okay to make course corrections in my life by changing my major. I had wanted to be a sports med doctor and an athletic trainer since I was 10 years old and got my first injury in swim. And I like held on to that, held on to that, held on to that. And then I learned that it was okay, that I wasn't feeling inspired by the major I was in. And I made that course correction by changing my major, and then ended up changing my school. And I came home and I started working, and I worked full time, and I was a student. So that was a really neat experience. Thank you for watching my video and learning a little bit about me and my college experience. If I had any piece of advice to give you, it would be to dream big, keep fighting for your dreams. Like, don't let anything stop you, and keep failing forward, because a lot of the time you learn a lot in the failure, and as long as you learn from it and grow from it, the failure wasn't for nothing.